The morning after the storm left the outpost with a brittle calm, frost coated every surface, glinting under Cryon's pale sun, and the frozen landscape stretched endlessly in every direction. Captain Alex Carter stepped outside to inspect the damage from the previous night. Walls had scraped against icy debris, and some external sensors were partially buried under snow. It was a planet that demanded constant vigilance, and Alex knew that every flaw could be dangerous. Lyria followed him silently, her small, glowing figure a bright contrast against the white expanse. She moved with surprising speed for someone so small, carefully avoiding patches of ice that could crack beneath her feet. Alex glanced at her, a mixture of admiration and curiosity filling his chest. Despite her alien physiology, she had adapted quickly, learning human ways while maintaining the instincts that kept her alive. "We need to repair the sensors quickly," Alex said, his voice steady though the wind bit at his exposed skin. "If more predators come, we can't afford blind spots." Lyria tilted her head as if understanding every word. She reached out and touched a buried sensor, sending a faint glow through it. Alex smiled. Her abilities were more than just perception. They were precise, almost like an internal navigation system designed by nature itself. Together, they began clearing the debris, working with a rhythm that required no words. Alex would lift the heavier parts while Lyria used her glowing touch to locate sensors that were still functional beneath the ice. It was a delicate balance. The predators might return, and any mistake could be fatal. By midday, the sensors were operational again, forming a protective perimeter around the outpost. Alex wiped the sweat from his brow, though the cold made it feel like frostbite rather than sweat. Lyria slid close, brushing against him, her way of seeking warmth even during active work. Alex chuckled softly, shaking his head, but he didn't pull away. In a world like this, companionship was as valuable as any tool. As the sun dipped low, a new problem appeared. The monitors inside the outpost detected movement far beyond the sensor range, something much larger, much more intelligent than the predators from the storm. Alex's heart skipped a beat. Cryon's surface was dangerous enough, but intelligent life? That could change everything. He grabbed his rifle and motioned for Lyria to follow. Her glowing figure made it easy for him to see her in the dim light. She moved closer, instinctively keeping near him as if sensing the potential threat. The pair navigated the icy terrain, following the signs of movement. Broken ice, unusual tracks, and faint thermal disturbances that only Lyria could detect. They arrived at the edge of a deep chasm. Across it, Alex could see a group of alien creatures towering over human-sized predators. They moved with coordination, clearly aware of the outpost's presence. Alex's mind raced. These creatures weren't hostile, not yet, but they were curious, intelligent, and capable of destruction if provoked. "We need to observe," he whispered. Crouching behind a ridge, Lyria pressed close, her small body vibrating slightly as if communicating fear or excitement. Alex realized she understood far more than he had expected. Her species might be small, but their senses were finely tuned to detect threats long before humans could. Hours passed as the sun set, leaving the landscape in shades of blue and silver. Alex sketched a plan, noting the positions of the creatures and predicting their movements. Lyria glowed faintly, her light reflecting the thought patterns of her species. Together they were a team, human ingenuity paired with alien instinct. Night came, and with it the predators returned. This time they were bold, moving closer to the outpost in a coordinated pattern. Alex and Lyria watched from the ridge, silent and alert. Alex's mind worked fast. He could set traps using the natural ice formations and the outpost's limited energy fields. Lyria pointed to weak spots and potential escape routes, her glow guiding him like a living map. The first predator fell into a cleverly concealed trap. Alex fired carefully, hitting precise points that immobilized rather than killed, preserving life while defending the outpost. Lyria darted across the ice, signaling with her touch, leading the remaining predators into the next trap. Their teamwork was flawless, each movement calculated and executed with care. By dawn, the predators were repelled, retreating into the frozen wilderness. Alex and Lyria returned to the outpost, exhausted but triumphant. She slid under the sheets again, seeking warmth, and Alex sat beside her, feeling the shared relief of survival. "We did it," he whispered. She tilted her head, glowing faintly in acknowledgement as if understanding every word. The days that followed were a mixture of routine and preparation. Alex repaired equipment, monitored the outpost, and studied Lyria. He marveled at her physiology, the way her body absorbed and retained warmth, how her senses detected threats far beyond human capability, and how her intelligence rivaled even the best human minds he had met. She wasn't just an alien needing protection. She was a partner, a friend, and a source of inspiration. One morning, an unexpected signal came through the communication array. It was faint, distorted by Cryon's atmosphere, but recognizable. Another human team was approaching, a research crew sent to expand the colony. Alex activated the external sensors and relayed their arrival coordinates. Lyria watched the holographic images, glowing brighter, her small hands hovering over the projections. She seemed to recognize something in the signal, perhaps a connection to other humans, perhaps something more. When the crew arrived, they were cautious. They had heard rumors of alien life on Cryon, but were unprepared to see Lyria. Alex introduced her carefully, explaining her needs and her role in protecting the outpost. The crew was skeptical at first, but Lyria's calm, intelligent behavior quickly won them over. She guided them through basic safety procedures, assisted with repairs, and even detected minor malfunctions that the human engineers had missed. Through this, Alex realized how extraordinary the moment was. Humanity had always reached for the stars, seeking knowledge and survival. Here, on a frozen alien world, he had found a being that could teach humans as much as humans could teach her. Lyria was living proof that cooperation across species was not only possible but transformative. But the peace was short-lived. One night, while the outpost slept, sensors detected an even larger movement. Something massive moving under the ice, shaping the landscape without warning. Alex and Lyria raced to the observation dome, scanning the horizon. The ice began to crack in massive sheets, revealing the hulking form of a creature unlike anything documented. It was intelligent, powerful, and aware of their presence. Alex acted quickly, signaling the crew to safety while Lyria assisted him in deploying emergency defenses. She darted through corridors, glowing in bursts to indicate danger and guide humans. Alex watched her in awe. She wasn't just surviving. She was orchestrating a defense with precision and clarity that rivaled any human commander. The creature tested the outpost's walls, shaking them with brute strength. Alex used the knowledge he had gained from Cryon's terrain to manipulate the ice, creating barriers and traps. Lyria followed, sensing weak points and alerting him to the creature's intentions. It was a battle of wits, strength, and adaptability. Hours passed and the creature finally retreated, seemingly satisfied or deterred. Alex and Lyria were exhausted, but the outpost had survived intact. The human crew looked at them both with a mixture of disbelief and admiration. They had witnessed not just survival, but the extraordinary power of human-alien cooperation. That night, Alex returned to his quarters. Lyria slid under the sheets as always, seeking warmth and comfort after the exhausting day. Alex watched her, thinking about everything they had faced together. The storm, the predators, the intelligent creature, and the isolation of Cryon itself. Yet through all of it, she had remained resilient, trusting him, and teaching him lessons about courage, empathy, and the importance of understanding other beings. He rested beside her, not just as a protector but as a partner in survival. Cryon remained a harsh, frozen world, full of unknown dangers and challenges. But Alex now knew that humanity had allies beyond its own species. The warmth of their bond, the trust they shared, and the ingenuity they combined would ensure survival, not just for them but for the entire colony. In the glow of the thermal blankets, Lyria whispered softly, her voice a melodic hum that Alex had come to understand without words. She wasn't just seeking warmth for her body. She was seeking the reassurance of companionship, of trust, and of shared strength. Alex smiled, brushing a hand across her glowing hair, feeling a profound sense of purpose. As Cryon's night stretched on, the frozen world outside remained vast, silent, and unpredictable. Yet inside the outpost, humanity and alien life had found something extraordinary: connection, understanding, and the quiet heroism of survival. Alex knew more challenges would come, more storms to weather, and more mysteries to solve. But for the first time, he truly believed that humans were not just survivors. They were capable of inspiring hope and bridging worlds. And so, In the cold silence of Cryon, the human engineer and the alien girl rested together, warm in body and spirit, ready to face whatever the universe might throw at them next. The bond they had forged in hardship was stronger than any storm, sharper than any predator's claw, and Alex had always thought that space travel would be full of adventure, excitement, and new discoveries. What he didn't expect was that his first real assignment would take him to a world that was half alien, half family drama. His father's decision to remarry had brought the Virelians into their lives, and now Alex had a stepsister who was not just alien, but one of the most unusual beings he had ever met. The shuttle descended through the planet's thick, multicolored atmosphere, shaking slightly as it pierced the cloud layers. Alex pressed his forehead against the glass of the observation deck, trying to make sense of the swirling sky. The planet was alive in ways humans couldn't imagine. The clouds shimmered with faint, luminous patterns. The oceans glowed in faint green light, and the land itself seemed to pulse with a rhythm, almost as if it were breathing. When they finally landed, the family transport pod waited. Lyra, his stepsister, was already there. She looked taller than any human his age, with long, silver hair that reflected the strange sunlight, and eyes that seemed to shift colors when she moved. Her expression was unreadable, a mix of curiosity and caution. "Alex," she said, her voice smooth but firm. "Welcome to our home. I hope you can adjust quickly." Alex nodded, trying to appear confident, though his stomach twisted with nerves. I'll try my best." She didn't respond, only turned and walked toward the large, crystalline structure that served as their family home. Alex followed, noticing how she moved with a grace and strength that humans could barely imagine. He stumbled slightly over the uneven ground, which seemed almost alive beneath his boots. The inside of the home was even stranger. The walls glowed faintly, pulsing softly with light. The floor seemed to shift slightly under his weight, and plants that seemed both organic and mechanical stretched along the walls. Alex wondered if he was dreaming. "Don't touch anything unless I say so," Lyra warned. "This home reacts to everything inside it. Not everyone understands it, but you will need to." Alex nodded again, but the truth was he had no idea what she meant. His training in human environments did not prepare him for a house that seemed alive, aware, and possibly judging him at the same time. The first few hours were awkward. Alex tried to make conversation, but Lyra's responses were clipped, polite but distant. She seemed to study him, analyzing his every movement, while he struggled not to make a fool of himself in front of someone who could probably read him better than he understood himself. That evening, dinner was served in a hall that seemed to float above the ground. The food was unlike anything Alex had seen. Small, glowing pods that unfolded into delicate shapes and textures. Lyra ate effortlessly while Alex poked at his food nervously. "You will adapt," Lyra said suddenly, her eyes flashing a momentary shade of bright gold. "It's easier if you respect our ways. Try to understand before you judge." Alex swallowed nervously. I will. I'm trying to." Lyra's gaze softened just a little. "Good. That is all I ask, for now." The first night passed uneventfully, though Alex slept lightly, listening to the strange hum of the house. It was alive, he realized, more than he had understood during the day. Every breath, every shift in the furniture seemed deliberate. He wasn't sure if the house was watching him, but it was certainly aware. The next morning, a planetary storm arrived. It wasn't unusual for the planet, but this one was stronger. The sky darkening with swirling colors. The house's systems began to hum louder and the walls seemed to pulse more rapidly. "Stay inside," Lyra said. "The storm can damage unprepared equipment. Our home will protect us, but we cannot leave until it passes." Alex tried to keep calm, but when a sudden gust rattled the structure, he nearly fell over. Lyra caught him easily, her hand strong and sure. "You must focus," she said sharply. "Panicking will make things worse." Humans often fail at this. Alex tried to steady his breathing. I can do this." Hours passed and the storm worsened. Alex began to notice small changes in Lyra's behavior. She was tense, moving constantly, her eyes scanning every corner of the room. Something about her energy was different, sharper, more intense than the day before. He didn't understand until he overheard a conversation through the house's translator system. His father was speaking with an elder Virelian about Lyra. "She is entering her seasonal cycle," the elder said. "It is normal. You must ensure the human remains respectful. He will feel its effects, but he must not interfere." Let him observe but not intrude, Alex froze. Seasonal cycle? He remembered reading about some alien species having biological cycles that affected their behavior, but he had never imagined living with one. Lyra caught him staring at the translator screen. Her eyes narrowed for a moment. Then she seemed to consider something. You overheard, she said quietly. I didn't mean to, Alex said. I heard. It is acceptable, she replied, her voice softer now. But you must understand. This cycle affects everything. Mood, energy, even decisions. You cannot treat me as if I am normal human. You must respect boundaries more than ever. Alex nodded solemnly. I will. I promise. The storm raged on and the two were trapped together. They spent the day performing simple tasks around the home, monitoring energy flows, checking the protective barriers, and ensuring the house remained stable. Every time Alex tried to ask a question about Lyra's cycle, she redirected him politely but firmly. It wasn't easy. He could sense her emotions more strongly than before, her reactions sharper and more volatile. One moment she would laugh at a small mistake he made. The next she would scowl, pacing the room as if something unseen bothered her. Despite the tension, Alex found ways to help. He noticed subtle patterns in the house's energy systems and suggested small adjustments that seemed to stabilize the home during the storm. Lyra observed him carefully, her expression unreadable. When the barrier holding the upper hall in place wavered, Alex acted quickly to reinforce it with a temporary energy patch. She raised an eyebrow, impressed despite herself. You are more capable than I expected, she admitted, her voice quiet. Humans are often clumsy, but you think quickly. That is useful. Alex felt a small surge of pride. Thank you. I'm trying to learn. Hours turned into a long night. The storm was relentless, and their isolation forced moments of quiet reflection. Alex realized that he didn't need to fully understand Lyra's biology to respect her. He could observe, help where needed, and avoid causing harm. That was enough. Lyra, for her part, began to let her guard down slightly. She explained some of the house's quirks, the way it responded to emotions and actions. Alex listened, fascinated, realizing that her world was far more complex than anything humans had built. By the end of the night, the storm began to subside. The sky outside glowed with the faint colors of dawn, a strange mixture of green, blue, and violet. The house hummed softly, returning to its normal rhythm. Alex looked at Lyra and realized something important. Despite the challenges, despite the strange customs and unfamiliar biology, he respected her. Not as an alien or a stepsister forced upon him, but as someone extraordinary, someone worthy of understanding and care. Lyra met his gaze, and for a moment, the tension between them eased. Tomorrow the cycle may intensify, she said softly. You will need patience, courage, and respect. If you can manage that, you may survive this period without conflict. Alex nodded. I'll do my best. I promise. She studied him for a moment, then gave a small, almost imperceptible smile. Good. That is all I require, for now. The first part of their journey had been a test, not of strength but of understanding, patience, and empathy. Both human and alien were learning about each other, discovering that survival was not just about weathering storms, but about navigating differences with care and intelligence. As Alex lay down to sleep, he realized that the coming days would be more difficult. Lyra's cycle would bring challenges he couldn't yet imagine, but he also knew that he could rely on his wits, his courage, and his growing respect for his alien stepsister. The adventure was only beginning, and the bonds they formed now would determine whether they survived not just the storm outside, but the trials within the household itself. And for the first time, Alex felt ready for it.